Good morning, welcome. Good to see you all. We're going to get started just seated comfortable on the mat. And we're going to bring the bottoms of our feet together into our cobbler's pose. And then we're just going to let the knees be heavy. Don't worry about pressing or folding or anything else. Just taking a moment to get into the position and feel both of your sit bones sit equally down on the mat. Just notice in your body if you're leaning a little bit to one way or another. And then noticing if the back is kind of rounding away. And we're going to lift the chest. Let the spine grow long. Let the top of the head come up toward the ceiling. Then with the hands, we're going to bend the elbows and just bring backs of the hands onto the back. So we're kind of mirroring the shape of our legs. Relax your shoulders for a moment. And just notice your breath. Notice the little adjustments the body might be making to keep you more upright. And then think about opening your elbows actively to the side so the shoulder blades come together and you give a little press in that low back. Welcoming in a new day, and if there's any intention you'd like to set for your practice, which is just a focus, somewhere to send your energy into when you're feeling challenged or tired, or even when you're feeling good and relaxed, letting that energy send into your intention for a little more patience today, a little more love for ourselves, whatever you'd like it to be. Good, activating those elbows again, the chest broadens just a little more. And then think about drawing the legs down toward the mat. Just slightly engaging those leg muscles so everything's kind of tight now. Okay, release the hands down and back behind you, fingertips face forward. And just give a little press into the mat, opening up the chest, breathing in. As you exhale, a little bend in the elbows and we'll just round through the back slightly, drawing the pelvis up toward us. And then inhale, tilt the pelvis forward, press the chest open, the throat open, and the gaze comes up. Gently release or bending the elbows just a little bit to curve the back, and we feel the pelvis kind of pull back with us. And then lift up, tilting forward through the pelvis, lifting up through the chest. Good, keep coming back and forth just a couple of times. Good, let's just take one more in each position. And then just release the arms, stretch the legs out long, give them a little shake there. And we're going to just slightly part the feet so they're about hip width apart. And give yourself a little tilt forward through the pelvis. So we tilt, keep the back nice and long, and then give a little pulse toward your toes. Real gentle little pulse, just warming the legs before we stretch in. Good, then go ahead and just reach forward, stretch out as far as feels good at this moment. So remember, you're not quite warmed up. Don't feel any pressure to take the feet. You can bring it to the shins, the thighs. Good, we're gonna lift the gaze, feel a little more stretch in the back. Exhale, come down again, maybe a millimeter further. Just take a couple breaths holding here. Lengthen the back of the body. Lengthen the backs of the legs. Good, let's release. We'll roll our way up and just cross the legs out in front of you. Take a big stretch to the ceiling. We're going to interlock the fingers and just press the palms up to the sky. Take a little side bend. Keep reaching the hands away. Up through the center and just take it the other way. Drawing the arms toward, framing the face, so around the ears best we can. Back into the center, and we're going to let the palms come to the base of the skull. Keep the elbows opening wide. Lean the head back into the hands just slightly. Feel that stretch deepen. And we'll take a big circle around, just keeping elbows open as we move. Good, let's bring it back the other way. And on this next circle, then we'll sit up tall. Flex the hands, press out beside you. Really actively pressing those hands. Good, lift the spine a little taller, breathe in. As you breathe out, release to a twist. Reaching opposite arm to leg, letting the shoulders drop. Gaze coming toward that back shoulder. Releasing to the middle, we'll flex the hands away and press. Good, release, twist it out the other way. Good, let it go. And let's make our way over to all fours. Giving ourselves a little rock forward and back. Now walking the hands toward the top of the mat. Let your chest sink down toward the ground. Hips are going to stay up high in our puppy pose. Your forehead can come to the mat. Or if you want to sink deeper, try bringing your chin down and looking between the hands. This will sink the chest in deeper. Big stretch into the shoulders, into the belly. Good. On your next breath, we're going to rise. Walk the hands under the shoulders. Let's take it to down dog. So tuck the toes, let the hips lift, and walk the feet. So just bend one knee at a time. Let the head drop heavy. Okay, bring the right leg up to the sky. We're going to bend that knee, send the foot out toward the left. So the hip is opening up. I'm going to look out under my right armpit. Good. Now I'm going to draw that knee toward the chest. Keep the foot lifting so you can slide up and set the foot down between the hands. Back knee is going to come down, top of the foot flattens. And I'll lift up to my fingertips to try and lift my chest and my gaze, but I'm staying kind of forward in this lunge. Give it a couple breaths to stretch into those hips. Notice where the mind goes. Good, we're gonna lift up into a lunge and then rock back to straighten the leg. So I'm gonna flex the hands, press out in front of me. If you feel you have your balance here, come back a little bit more by lifting the toes. You see my hips kind of shift back over the leg. Very nice. Bring the foot down, bend that knee, hands to the mat. We'll tuck the toes, and then we're going to bring that back foot flat on the mat. Take a lift up and open, warrior one. So my chest is face forward, both hip bones facing forward. So I have a little angle in that back foot so that I can bring this knee under. Arms are lifted, breathe. Good, we'll open warrior two. So this time my hip bones turn out to the side and my toes turn out so that the leg is parallel to the back of the mat. Good, sink in a little bit more, feel out that warrior pose. Now we're gonna cycle the hands down to the mat. So hands come on either side of the foot, tuck the back toes. Step back into your down dog. Take a big breath. Good, we'll take our vinyasa from here. So I'm gonna come forward into plank. And then either lower straight down or you can use your knees, chest, chin, and then lifting up to cobra. Chest and belly lift, elbows to the sides. Good, bring it back to the mat. Tuck the toes, lift back, downward facing dog. Looking forward, step or hop up to your hands. And then just release into your forward fold, take a breath. Soft knees, upper body is heavy. Gently, we're gonna rise up. We'll let the arms lift all the way to the sky. Palms can meet if that feels good in the shoulders. And then pull the fingertips to the ceiling. Good, hands melt down to the heart. Take a breath. Inhaling, we're gonna reach again. Exhale, open the arms wide, swan dive down. Nice long back as you come down. Take an inhale, lift halfway. You can bring hands onto the shins and flatten out the back. And then bring the hands back to the mat. And we're gonna step the right foot back. Take a breath here. And then let the knee and the top of the foot come down. Now lifting up to the fingertips, find that low lunge lift. So if the hands don't come to the mat very comfortably, you can always use a prop underneath, like a block or a book, a Tupperware. Anything that feels kind of sturdy to help you lift up. Good, now we lift to the full low lunge, taking a breath. Reach it up. Press it away, flex the hands. Start to straighten through that front leg. The body lines up over the knee. And then maybe lifting the toes, I shift back a little further. So I'm gonna come a little past the knee and the hips, and that's gonna bring work into that right quad. Good, last breath. Foot comes down, hands to the mat. Tuck the back toes, we're lifting up. And bring that foot down at a little angle behind you. Bend the front knee, lift up, warrior one. So just notice if you're kind of leaning forward, we want to draw the belly back. Draw the chest up. Very nice. Opening up warrior two, so that back foot comes parallel. My hip bones face to the side, and my gaze comes out over that front arm. Very good. We're going to bring the hands down around that front foot. Tuck your back toes. Step back down dog. Look forward. Step or hop up to the top. And release to a fold. Drop the head. So your gaze comes between the ankles. Your neck is long. Good. Little bend in the knees. Will slowly rise all the way up. Rolling shoulders back. Letting the arms lift. Breathe in. Maybe bring the palms together and your gaze up. Exhale into the heart. Vinyasa, inhale up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten the back. Exhale to the mat, step out to down dog. Inhale, move forward to your plank. Exhale, come down. You can come straight or maybe knees, chest, chin. And then up to cobra or into your up dog where the thighs float. Little bend in the elbows, send the chest forward either way. Good, now knees to the mat. We're gonna sink Hips to the heels, child's pose. Take a nice long stretch right here. Big breaths. Perfect. On our next breath, lifting up to all fours. Tuck the toes. Lift it up, downward facing dog. Right leg lifts, three-legged dog. I'm going to bend that knee. Look out under your armpit. Big stretch in the hip, trying to draw that left heel toward the mat. Good. Now step the foot through. So knee to the chest, lift that foot, and then step between the hands. Gorgeous. Back knee comes down, top of the foot down. And we're going to lift onto the fingertips again. Draw your shoulders away. Fantastic. Now I'm going to take my lift up and I'm going to bring hands to the heart. Take a little twist out to the right. Now notice the hands are in toward the chest as you twist. We're going to come down in this twist to rest the elbow, but keep the chest lifting up. Sometimes we kind of sink down into this. Want to leave that chest lifting. A little press of the arm into the thigh will help us to twist. And maybe look out over that right shoulder. Elbows are stacking up one over the other, so you're kind of making a line with those forearms. Good. Releasing to the center. We're going to lift up. This time, keep that length up through the upper body as you straighten the leg. And maybe lift the toes. Find balance there for a moment. Great job. Now we're going to keep the leg long. Come forward. You can either rest onto the leg or come down to the mat if the hamstring allows. Now our toes are lifted here. We're going to move forward to bring the bottom of the foot down to the mat and just add that top of the ankle and foot stretch in. Good. Bend the knee. Tuck the back toes. We lift that back knee off. Flatten the back foot. Warrior one. So taking a lift, sinking into that front knee. Again, the body is squaring up over your hips. Great job. Warrior two. Let's open back foot and hips. Now we're going to take it to reverse warrior. So I'm going to reach back, sliding through the body to keep my sides long. Let my back hand rest to the thigh. Right arm is going to start reaching up and finding space in that side rib cage. You can explore this a little more if you like by taking that left hand over toward the top hip and even bending in a little more. Fantastic. Bring the forearm forward now. We're going to rest it onto the thigh and reach the left arm up. So the temptation here is to kind of be spilling over the leg like this. My hip is hiked. I want to bend into that front knee. Let the hip sink in. So I'm making one long line. Fingertips to heel. Side angle pose. Good. Let's lift our way back into our warrior two. And then cycle the hands down around the foot. Tuck the back toes, step back, down dog. Good, you can either hold here for 5 breaths or go ahead and take your vinyasa again, coming forward, lowering down, lifting up, and back to down dog. Good, looking forward between the hands, step or hop up, release into a fold. Slowly we roll our way all the way up to the top. Inhaling to reach, palms come together. Exhale into the heart. Take a moment there, just nice and solid through the feet. Feel the top of the head rising to the ceiling. Good, we'll lift again, inhale. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale down, and we're gonna step or hop back to our downward facing dog. And then this time, left leg is gonna rise, 3-legged dog. I'm opening the hip, bending the knee to send the foot out to the right, and taking my gaze under the left arm. Perfect, let's do our transfer. So knee to the chest, I move forward, slide that foot in between the hand. Good job, bring the back knee down, flatten the foot, lift to your fingertips. Find a little bit of height through the front of the chest, drawing those shoulders down away from the neck. Good, making our way in to that low lunge, reaching up. Hands come together, and we'll draw to the heart. Taking our twists out to the left then. Keep the thumb into the sternum as you come down and rest your right elbow to the leg. Give a little press in the leg to help twist. Gaze is maybe coming toward that left shoulder if the neck feels good to do it. Very important to focus on the balance here, more than how deeply you can twist or how well you can hold. If you lose the balance, just come back in, go slowly back into the twist. Good, let's release to the center. We're gonna stretch the arms up, start to straighten through that front leg, and then maybe lift the toes up if you find some balance there. Coming to the fold, so hands to the leg, some blocks, or maybe the mat. Toes are lifted for the moment. Just breathe, drawing the belly toward the thigh. And then bring the bottom of the foot down, just adding to that stretch. Deepens in the calf. Deepens in the top of the leg. Beautiful. Bend the knee, walk the hands forward. Tuck the back toes to lift and bring the back foot flat, lifting up warrior one. Body stacks over the hips. Then bend and sink into that front knee. Very good. Warrior two, we're going to open up. Slide that back foot open. Hip bones open. Sink into the front knee. Don't be afraid to challenge that leg. Good, let's come to reverse warrior. So I'm going to reach first and then tilt back. Let the hand meet the thigh. Left arm's reaching up, finding lots of space in that side rib cage. Maybe exploring a little more, taking that right hand over to the front hip and leaning back a bit more. Drop that right shoulder away. Good. Through your warrior two, reach and sink. And then forearm to the leg. Reach that right arm overhead. Notice if your hip has pushed back. Bend into that front knee to help sink it in. And find a nice long line in side angle pose. Good. Let's lift back, warrior two. Cartwheel the hands down. Tuck the back toes, down dog. Final vinyasa, or just breathe here for 5. If you want a vinyasa, we're going to come forward, lower down, take a lift, and move back to down dog. Good. Let's all come down to our knees now. Flatten the feet. Send the hips back toward the heels. Child's pose. Let your forehead rest down. Upper body is heavy. Breath is long. Gently lifting up. And we're going to come seated again. Bringing the feet down to the mat, knees are going to bend, and we'll just reach forward in between the legs toward the top of the mat. Let the back round out a little bit. And breathe. Now we're going to leave the feet as wide as they are and just let the knees open to the side. So you're taking like a wide foot cobbler's pose. Relax your thighs as much as you can. Good. Lifting up, bring feet to the bottom of the mat. And we'll just lay back onto our backs. So we'll roll the shoulder blades under so they're nice and flat to the ground, and walk the feet up toward the hips. Let your hands come down beside you, palms facing down. And we're going to take a little movement just in the hips. So we're going to tilt forward. I want you to think about that little curve in your low back. Tilt the hips forward like you're coming onto the tailbone. Feel that curve grow a little bigger. Belly stretches up. Shoulder blades really plant into the mat here. Chin to the chest. Good. Now we're going to take it the other way. So I'm going to start to flatten down my low back best I can. Squeeze into those lower abs to help tilt the hips up toward you. Like you're sending the hip bones down to the mat, and the tailbone's going to lift and move toward you. Good. Gently back the other way. Tilt forward, drawing tailbone toward the mat. Belly button lifts a bit to the ceiling. And then drawing down, low back comes flat. A little tilt in. I squeeze through the low abs to help get that last little lift. So where we are now is a posterior tilt of the pelvis. We're squeezing in, we're breathing in. Then we're going to come forward, anterior tilt. Bring the belly up. Good, back the other way. And just move slowly between these a few times, just feeling that strength in the abs as you come to the final spot. Stretch through the back and over the hip bones. Beautiful. Let the spine go into neutral. Shoulder blades rolling back under. Palms down beside you. And we're going to lift up into our bridge. So I'm going to press through the feet. Begin to lift the hips up. Like we're drawing the front of those hip bones up to the ceiling. Chin is to the chest. You might find a little more power here, lifting the hips a little higher and letting some more weight come into those shoulder blades. Good. Now think about each vertebra coming down one at a time, meeting the mat again. See if you could curve the back, bringing down one little piece at a time. Rest the hips to the mat and give the knees a little rock side to side. Good, into the center, and we'll lift the knees up, hug them to the body. Give yourself a rock side to side. Happy baby. I'm going to open the knees out a little wider than my rib cage. Flex the feet, point them to the top of or up to the ceiling. And then you can take a hold on the bottoms of the feet or maybe the backs of the thighs and give yourself another little rock here. Now a little bit of looseness for the hips. We're just going to bend and open one foot at a time. Very good. Well, then just hold that happy baby in stillness. So I'm going to open the feet, flex them. Now I'm going to pull down into the feet just a bit to intensify that stretch if it feels good. And then press the feet back up into the hands so everything's nice and active. Breathe. And draw the knees together. Let the feet start to extend to the ceiling. You can take a hold behind the thighs if that feels good. Now keep holding on to the thighs and take a little crunch like you're drawing the forehead to the knees. Hold just a breath. And then let it all go. Uncurl, let the legs come to the mat. Let the arms open up by your sides. Let the body go heavy. Moving into Shavasana. Relaxing the hands and feet. Feeling the fingers softly curl. Letting the feet fall open. Chin gently tucking in the direction of the chest. Sending all the work of your practice out into that intention today. Sending out the energy you built here into the rest of your day. So we can find energy, stillness, peace as we move through each part of our day today. Let's slowly start to release our Shavasana. Just giving ourselves a little stretch out here. Bend just the left knee, hug it to the body, and let it come over to the right. Just taking a little twist through the spine. Letting that left shoulder reach down toward the mat. And then moving back to the middle. Hug the right knee in. And bring it out to the left. Letting that right shoulder stay down. Back to the center. And let's bring both knees to the chest. Holding on behind the thighs. Give your legs a stretch in. And then give yourself a little rock up to seated. Okay, we'll let the hands come into the heart. Thanking ourselves and each other for this time we got to spend sharing our flow. Thank you so much for coming. Namaste. Thank you, ladies, so much for being here. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you again next week.